about a few gaffes. It's about increasing evidence of a, well, total lack of any energy and, let's just say, not particularly aware, lacking awareness. Nice way to put it. By the way, you can imagine what the mob and the media's reaction would be if Donald Trump approached those doctors without his mask on. Here with reaction, former White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows. What a difference a month makes, my friend. And I'm watching this. It's really, though, more about policy. You know, I go through the list of the World Health Organization, the Paris Accords, stopping construction of the wall, not enforcing immigration laws, you know, by the stroke of a pen, bypassing, you know, an entire co-equal branch of government, executive actions on everything. What's your reaction to this first month?
Well, that's what he continues to do, Sean. When you start to look at this, this is not only not unifying and working with Congress, he's doing a go it alone, America last kind of approach. And so it's some of those policies. But it's interesting, you know, we look at that. We see how the media continues to give them a pass and give specifically Joe Biden a pass. You know, whether it's the mask today that we're looking at. And by the way, when you look at it, it looked almost like Kamala Harris actually said, "Hey, Joe, get your mask," you know, and he went running back. And so when we see all of this, though, it is very, very important that we start to focus on what Joe Biden's all about. He made campaign promises. The media gave him a pass. And yet what we're seeing is that individually, he is continuing to put the American worker last, and they're suffering for it.
You know, I'm watching all of this, and I'm talking to people every day on the radio, and people are really, really nervous. You know, sometimes you get a better perspective standing back from the election, standing back from all that happened post-election, standing back from impeachment madness, Democrats again. And the one thing I think, and I might be mistaken, and I think we might get the first evidence of this on Sunday when the president speaks to CPAC. You would know more than I would. But I would expect that we're going to look at President Trump's first term as the beginning of the America First movement, as the beginning of making America great. And it's going to be a process, and it's going to be long-standing, and it's going to be ongoing, and it's going to be a daily battle. Make sense?
Well, you're going to see a speech on Sunday that talks about not only the beginning, but what the future may look like. And I'm excited about it. I spoke to President Trump last night for a fairly lengthy conversation where we're talking about America, where it needs to go, continuing the America First agenda. But more importantly than that, how this President Biden has undermined that particular policy within days. And we see it. Listen, we talk about following the science. Joe Biden said he was going to follow the science. Let me tell you what he's doing. He's following the money. You know, he keeps the schools closed. He's letting teachers union dictate it yet. But when it comes to other union jobs, like pipeline jobs, he's eliminating those right away, and he's going against campaign promises. But what we will see on Sunday is we will see the start of planning for the next administration. And I can tell you, the people that are at the top of that list, all of them have Trump as their last name.
You know, I think back, look at, for example, the travel ban that Biden called hysterical xenophobia in January or February and in March of last year, right? And then you think about when really things got bad in late March and New York was caught flat-footed and New Jersey was caught flat-footed. Trump built the hospital, manned the hospitals, converted them to COVID, got all the PPE, all the medicines, the beds remained empty. And then people were dumped, as we now know, in nursing homes by the great Governor Cuomo with his fantastic PowerPoints that weren't so powerful after all. And then we have the vaccine. This is not the Biden vaccine. You guys were distributing 1 million shots a day into people's arms when you left office for weeks before you left office. Now they're having a hard time picking up the job that you guys already put in place. I think history will be kinder to Donald Trump's travel ban, what he did to build hospitals, and the warp speed vaccine.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, he protected Americans. But isn't it interesting how everybody said, oh, President Trump, when he's out there saying that we're going to have a vaccine in 9 months, we're going to do it in record speed. You know, everybody, including Governor Cuomo and Dr. Fauci, said there's no way that that's going to happen. In fact, they were out there doing victory laps to try to take credit for things that he was actually doing. But here's what we do know, is that the president that I had the privilege of working for actually delivered. He continues to deliver on behalf of millions of Americans. So if you're getting a vaccine today, you can thank President Trump because he was the one that put forth that plan.
And you know what? And backing up that money. You know, it's going to be very, very interesting. Where, though, if you look at the Trump presidency and everything the president tried to do, Democrats were taking him to court. I don't see the same thing happening to the Biden campaign, except for there are exceptions like the attorney general in Texas and some other states. I've got to believe there's got to be some coordinated effort to stop the executive action. Joe Biden said, I'm not a dictator. I got to get the votes, man. Come on, man. And all of a sudden, he's not getting any votes. He's just writing executive order after executive order.
Well, it's coming. I can tell you, I appreciate you mentioning that, because whether it is Attorney General Paxton in Texas or Attorney General Landry in Louisiana or many of the other great Republican attorney generals we have, Stephen Miller at American First Legal is going to actually be working hand in glove with those attorney generals, working with Conservative Partnership to actually go forward and challenge some of these executive actions as unconstitutional, and certainly they need to be held accountable. And I can tell you that help is on the way. American First Legal is going to be doing exactly what you're talking about, working with attorney generals from across the country.
All right. But looks like you got some sleep in the last month. I don't know. You look a little rested. Look like you even got a little sun. Good to see you.
It's
Mark
great to be
Meadows.
with you.